Hello, beautiful souls, and welcome back to Anam Cara Messages. Um, Still not used to this yet, so outside my comfort zone. But I have been reminded to ask you to, if this resonates with you, please press the thumbs up button and the like button. Um, Feel free to share to others so that the messages go out and can resonate with others. And, if it's resonating with you, please feel free to hit subscribe. Now, no idea. I just got this impulse again, you know, that to do a live video. And as always, I'm not getting the information beforehand. And I was a bit anxious. So I actually took one of my angel decks and shuffled and out jumped the card Spiritual Growth. And, just I was hoping they'd give me some guidance as to, what's to happen here. But when I just looked at the card, it resonates so much. I mean, I don't know if you can see this image clearly, but like, look at her. She's had a hard battle. She's literally on the tip of a mountain. Like, she has been through, trials, like the effort involved to climb a mountain like that. Like, just look at her. But yet she's reached that top. And can you imagine the exhilaration after taking on a challenge like that, only to reach the top, have a magnificent view like that in a beautiful mountain range? She's lit up. She's like, oh my God, look what I have done. She's realizing the strength in herself, the abilities that she has, her strength to endure, her strength to overcome against all the odds. She has reached the peak of that massive mountain and she's feeling amazing. And like, she's gaining her angel feathers. Look at all this light around her head. Like, the more you overcome, the more you realize how strong you are. And like, the more you realize that, all the trials and hardships in life and the traumas and all those horrible experiences, you've overcome them, you've survived them, you've gotten to where you are right now. This is me, this is you, this is all of us. All the hardships of life, we have climbed the mountain of life. And we have gotten to where we are right here, right now. And many of us are starting to awaken. Many of us are starting to recognize how strong we are, how powerful we are, how able and capable we are to deal with life's challenges and all that comes our way. Because no matter how hard it's been, we're still here. We've survived to tell the tale. That's how strong we are. And most of us have no idea we have this inner strength within, this sense of, I can do this, until we actually had to face the things and survive them. And sometimes we look back and we've no idea how we survived those moments of our life or those aspects of the mountain, those challenges, those extra rocks where the path wasn't so clear ahead. But you know what? We found a way, and we found a way to here today. And like, this is our own divine essence, our angelic wings. We're finding our own wings, like the feathers of wisdom. Again, feathers are like the air energy, the element of air, which is like communication and, sharpness and focus. And, this is our own divine wisdom coming back to us. It's flown in us, into us, and it's flowing through us. So as we're gaining our feathers, we're spreading feathers in the world. This is why, as light workers, our paths are crossing each other. We're starting to offer words of encouragement to each other. This isn't about, anybody being right or wrong. This is about, again, like the on-running theme, about being your authentic self, standing in your own authenticity, recognizing how far you've come and how capable you are. And you know what? You've got this. You've got the steering wheel of your own life. We've allowed others to hop in and out. It's like our lives are a car, a vehicle. And, a lot of the times we let other people steer our car for us. But we're now at a point where we realize we can actually take the steering wheel of our own lives, because look at everything we've already survived and overcome. We can stop running to other people and go, oh my God, what do you think? Should I do this? Shouldn't I do that? And we actually allow other people to tell us what is right for us in life, and give us reasons to do things that maybe we were feeling off about and not listening and trusting ourselves. But it is safe to trust yourself. And I've been speaking with so many people lately, you're all getting these impulses, these ideas, you're getting this desire to reach out and, share your thoughts and your wonderings with other people. But you're stopping yourself because you're afraid that they're going to judge you or think you're weird. But, in reality, it's because so many people are starting to become aware that frequency is emitting out, and we're bumping off each other's frequencies. And as such, the frequencies are rising. And sorry, they're giving me a flash. I had to get my car jump started the other day. It wouldn't start, and I'm new to the area, and it's like, what'll I do? And I managed to get numbers for neighbours, so I ended up calling, and one of my lovely neighbours came up and to give me a jump start. And I realised as I was calling that I know things have changed with technology, but I'm very old school. But I have jump leads and a very old car, but apparently you can't jump off the new cars. It can do something to their circuits. But my neighbour arrived down and happened to have this little battery pack that can be used to jumpstart other vehicles. And it kind of got me thinking, because while talking to a friend earlier, I'd be talking about, people used to tease me and call me Duracell, when I was being bullied for having red hair as a child. And, those things used to hurt. Now I kind of giggle and laugh. And I kind of realize, do you know what? I actually am like the Duracell battery with my copper colored top, because, I seem to be doing that for people that I cross paths with, for friends and acquaintances. And now apparently that's what I'm doing through these live videos that I've been getting the impulses to do. So when I'm interacting with people and I share my sense of reality, and my perspective on how I view things, that makes them stop and pause. But it's actually giving them a little jump start of energy. It's starting the engines of their own cars, and it's like my job is now to, remind people you can take your own steering wheel. You have passed your driver's test, of life. We're not talking cars. The car is just, I don't know, a little metaphor. This is how I translate things. But it's like, you've passed all the tests through life. You're still standing. You've survived so much. You're perfectly capable of taking the steering wheel of your own car. And this message is kind of like a spiritual jumpstart. Do you know what I mean? From Amanda, the Duracell battery, who, remind you who you are, remind you to listen to how you feel. Don't let anyone, including me, tell you what to do. And that's not the purpose of this. That's not what I'm about. What I'm about is trying to remind you who you truly are, and the strength that you have within that you don't recognize because you get so caught up and distracted, with other things, and, the societal pumping about all this worry and stuff to be anxious about. We're just being totally surrounded and drowned in all of that kind of heavy frequency stuff. I choose not to do that. I choose to spend my time doing things I enjoy that feel good. And as such, I'm like that Duracell battery. Or back to the car thing, when the neighbour came to give me a jump start the other morning, it's that portable thing that can come along, go anywhere, cross paths, whatever, and if needed, can give a jolt of energy, a jolt of frequency to bring life back into that car so I could drive again. And again, I'm here to bring life back to you and jumpstart your spiritual battery. It's still there, it's still alive. It's just been weighted down in the cold, heavier, darker, denser frequencies for so long now. It just needs a little jumpstart. And then boom, you can drive from here to Cork, or, wherever, get ferries, drive around the world. Anything is possible as long as you get your engine started again. And look, I know I'm going off on tangents. And I just hope this is resonating and you're following with where I'm going. But again, as light workers, most of you know a lot of this stuff, what I'm talking about. And we know about meditation. But they're asking me to just emphasize the power of meditation. It is so So important. And like that portable battery pack, that comes with a lead and a plug, so it plugs into the wall. So that too needs to be charged. So me, my little Duracell battery self, it is true. So I will cross paths. I've been doing it for years. I just didn't even know I've been doing it. I'm only starting to recognize all this in the last year. Hospital waiting rooms, just striking up conversations with random strangers, other patients, and sometimes just ending up sharing my story and my perspective on life. And most people would always say, "My God, I'm so glad I met you today," or "I'm so happy our paths have crossed." And I just didn't realize I was already doing this back then. But there were times I used to get tired and drained. And as I was becoming more spiritually aware and maybe doing some courses, sometimes I'd hear people talking about how people, are psychic vampires and they suck the life out of us and they drain us. No, they don't. That's just something we've been led to believe. Nobody can drain us unless we choose to tune into their frequencies. And you see, because we haven't been reminded of who we are, and because we haven't been reminded about this beautiful spiritual energy and frequencies that flow through us, that empower us, we can get a little bit sidetracked, and we end up focusing into those heavier frequencies. We know they don't feel too good, but instead of recognizing I can feel better, we keep focusing on that energy that doesn't feel good. And as a result, then we're going, "Oh my God, it's your fault I'm feeling bad." When actually, no, it's our own fault, because we took our dial, our little frequency dial that we've spoken about in the other videos, and we've tuned our dialer into those heavier frequencies that those people were trapped in at that time. And we choose to blame those people, when no, we can turn our dial at any time. And sometimes when if your cup can be overflowing and we can give freely to others. And I'm advocating selfishness, because sometimes you have to put yourself first, and not in the nasty, conceited way, but in the way of, if we look after ourselves and maintain our own energies and our frequencies and keep our own batteries recharged, then we can give freely to everybody. But if we're in a situation where the heavier frequencies far outweigh our lighter frequency and we can feel it dragging us down, because eventually we all know that feeling. You get to that point where suddenly you're just not feeling so good. Suddenly you really wish you were somewhere else, but we always stay to be polite because we wouldn't like to be rude. That's the moment where we really need to just, hang up the phone, leave the room, leave the function, whatever your situation is. But take yourself out and start reaching, because that would feel better to do in that moment. And then you start reaching for better feeling things, or listing off. Like, what works for me is remembering things I appreciate. And as I start remembering things I appreciate, other things I appreciate come in, and then I just start recognizing, oh my God, how many good things and wonderful things happen in my life every day, every hour, because I choose to look for them, and it feels good. So my battery starts recharging. That is a form of meditation, just taking a few deep breaths and feeling good. For others, meditation, it's not all about I was talking to somebody recently, and he was going like, "What's your favorite song? What's your song that makes you feel good and makes you smile in the inside?" And she said, "Summer of '69." Like there was something wrong with that. And I go, "No, this is wonderful." And again, that's actually a song that would resonate for me and give me a bit of an inner smile. And that's what I was trying to explain. It's not always about quieting the mind and thinking of nothing. That's not what meditation is. And a lot of people give up on meditation because they think they can't quiet the mind. Meditation is about connecting back to yourself. Meditation is finding your balance and your harmony. It's yin and yang. It's your external energies with your internal energies, coming back into balance with each other. And meditation can be just coming in after a really crappy day at work, turning on your favorite song. That's all the time you need to devote to this one song. I promise you'll end up doing a bit more afterwards because it feels so good. But just commit to one song. And then as that comes on, close your eyes and breathe deeply. Inhale all the wonderful memories, all that inner smile energy that song invokes in you. Remember how good that song makes you feel and all the times you've danced to it or whatever. And then as you exhale, You're consciously letting go of every situation that felt heavy in frequency, dense, dark, cold, whatever way unpleasant, that you choose to just breathe that out and let that go when you get home. And again, you don't have to wait till you get home. You can, if you're experiencing where you're getting a bit ick, you can just excuse yourself to use a bathroom. You can just close your eyes, take a few breaths, think of your favorite song, and remember how good it feels to dance to that song or listen to that song. Tune into that inner smile that favorite song of yours invokes. And you breathe in 3 nice, big, conscious, deep breaths of that frequency, that energy. And as you breathe out, you consciously let go of. Sorry, I'm just laughing at the horses going by and, snorting and whinnying and, letting go their nervous energy. I love the way spirit sometimes validates things. And there I am again, going off on focus and losing track. Yeah, so, meditation, it's so important, and it's not as hard as most of us think it is. And I spent years getting really frustrated because I couldn't switch my brain off. And I used to get so frustrated and angry because I hear other people going, oh yes, it's so peaceful and they've these lovely, wonderful experiences, and I wasn't experiencing that. So I thought, as usual, I'm not worthy, I'm worthless, I'm not good enough, I'm not like everybody else. And you know what? That used to feel really crap. But what I didn't realize was I was getting it. I was just dismissing it. I would get thoughts in my mind. Do you know what I mean? I would be thinking of things. So I thought I wasn't worthy because I wasn't getting the lovely Technicolor HD visuals other people were getting. And that's the thing. Sometimes you're being guided and you're not listening because you don't realize you're being guided. You think it's your own thoughts. And sometimes when you're having that little inner battle with yourself, it's like the old cartoons, with the Tom and Jerry, and sometimes you'd have the little angel and the little devil, and they'd both be going in the ear. That's a little bit like, ourselves, our ego self versus our soul. Sometimes our ego has all these little bad habits that we picked up to survive. So we're like, and have to be on guard all the time. Whereas our little angelic selves, our soul selves, are that kind of like, you know what, everything is okay. Always choose the better feeling option, because the better feeling option, when you're doing the right thing, you just feel better and everything in your life gets better. And, sorry, I know I'm very childish ways of translating these messages. I really hope you're following me. So, again, meditation and breathing helps us tune into that. It helps us connect with our little cartoon characters, the ego versus the soul. And it doesn't have to be a battle. It doesn't have to be a war, because our shadow side, and again, Christianity, it's done an awful lot with this whole, it's demonized the little devil symbol, when, really, it's not evil. It represents your shadow side. The aspects, your little defense mechanisms, and then you end up having behaviors that don't really serve your highest good. But it doesn't make you evil. It just makes you somebody that's been really hurt and wounded, and you've developed these little armors and walls to put up around yourself. So, it feels safer. So, our shadow has protected us through a lot of traumas and horrible things in life. Our shadow side is very, very necessary. And I hear about people on the spiritual path going, oh, I just have to kill my shadow side and get rid of my dark side, and embrace the light. But you know what? There is no light without the dark. You wouldn't know, would you? If you didn't have that contrast, you wouldn't know you were in the light. You wouldn't know how to appreciate what feels good if you didn't experience all the horrible things that feel icky and not so good, and all that stuff. If you didn't feel them and experience them, you would never truly value the light frequencies, those uplifting feelings of appreciation and satisfaction and joy, and just everything wonderful, just the appreciation of life. And the more bad experiences that we have, or what we call bad experiences, because if we think about it, they're good ones because they're teaching us lessons. Because for everything that we recognize as being, that's not so pleasant, that in that moment, we're getting an opportunity to choose. Okay, do I want to keep my focus on this awful frequency and keep going in that direction? Or, if I'm feeling that ick feeling, that's my soul letting me know, or my little angel on my shoulder letting me know that, hang on, there's a better way. You don't have to keep focusing on that. And if we're just willing to trust those feelings and trust ourselves, everything that feels ick is an indication from our soul saying, there's a better option available to you, there's a better way, you know, there's a better perspective to look at this through. But there is a solution to feeling better. That's what that means. But we don't really pay attention, and we become frightened. And when things trigger us now and we get that, we're not always recognizing that, oh, this is a wonderful lesson. This is a wonderful moment. This is a moment where I get to choose what's right for me. And you learn through how things feel about what's right for you or not. And what's right for you may not be right for me. This is all about each of us individually walking our own paths and doing our own journeys. And I know this is running a theme through all of the videos that I've done so far, but again, it's back to that internal sat nav. Are we feeling good, or are we feeling in that heavier kind of burdensome, weighted down kind of energy? And we literally get to choose in every moment. And we can't always change our circumstances, but we can change our perspective and how we look at it. And that's what I've been practicing. Like, I'm not some doctor with a PhD, or I'm not some expert. I'm just somebody who's starting to piece together and figure out the lessons that she's been taught through life. I'm beginning to recognize there's a lot of stuff that I've known, but I didn't really understand, didn't fully get it. And I'm having all of these little, they're not even light bulb moments anymore. That's an expression people use. But for me, it's not necessarily a light bulb. For me, it's nearly like a firework display going off in my head. And it's like, whoa, like stuff that I thought I knew, didn't really. But when the comprehension starts to hit you and you start to feel it, it's like you start seeing more and recognizing more and more lessons. And hardships in your life start to make more and more sense. And you no longer see them as something traumatic and something burdensome to weigh you down, because you start to see the gold, or the silver lining, that nugget of gold, that essence, that pearl of wisdom within. Sorry, I'm getting images of oysters now. And again, it's like, what are pearls? A bit of sand gets into the oyster, it irritates them, they produce this, I don't know, mucus-like substance, which, gradually builds in layers and becomes a pearl, which then we value, but again, it's all energy, isn't it? And everything ties back to energy and frequency, and like a grain of sand is the element of earth. You've got like the element of water in the sea, the the oyster itself, that's also earth energy. And the fire energy, that's the inspiration to do things. Like the elements, all of the elements are within everything and all of us. I'm going off on another tangent again. I find it very difficult doing these videos, because one-to-one people can stop me when I'm losing their train of thought, and I can switch back and, try and find another way of explaining it, to help the penny to drop. I just have to trust, if the guides are making me do this again today, those that are watching are understanding and resonating, because that's why you've been drawn to watch this video today. Now, I'm being asked to shuffle this deck. This deck is the Work Your Light Oracle deck. And they're just, I don't know, just a beautiful feeling deck. It's just a lovely vibration and frequency to them. And there's so many wonderful cards out there with such wonderful, good feeling messages and frequencies. And it's when we start to feel them. I used to only read them and I'd be frustrated because I didn't really understand the messages. But that's because I was reading them in the tone and frequency of, that I was in at that time, which was kind of depressed, frustrated, angry, all that heavier stuff, stressed out, not coping in life, finding everything difficult. But that's not who I am anymore. And now I look at some of my cards, and if I read the messages, they feel so completely different. And they don't frustrate me or irritate me. They actually just uplift me because I finally understand them, because I'm reading them in the frequency in which they were originally channeled. And we all have this ability available to us, which is kind of going back to the car battery and charging. We can go around jumpstarting others, but we have to remember to plug ourselves in and recharge ourselves. And the way we do that is by meditating, which is not, it can be at the top of the mountain, but it's actually about just taking some conscious breaths and tuning into yourself, realign to yourself, breathing in and remembering the good feeling things and what you're capable of and how you're able to feel good. You can choose to feel good, while breathing out any of the heavier, denser, icky frequencies and vibrations that you've picked up or interacted with throughout the day. And you get to choose what feels what. It's not about ignoring your feelings. This is about paying very close attention to your feelings and how things feel. And then choosing that, oh, that's ick. I choose to release that. And you just imagine all of those heavier things drifting off like smoke in the breeze or leaves in the wind, whatever works for you. And then you're breathing in your divine essence, your own spiritual strength, your own spiritual light. It just takes practice. It is quite simple. So, they make me repeat myself a lot. And that used to kind of bother me, and I'd be getting embarrassed. And, oh God, people are going to be so annoyed because I'm repeating myself. But then, as they said to me, they keep making me repeat it, because although many of us know, although many of us know a lot of this knowledge, we don't always receive it and implement it fully and embrace it fully in our daily lives. So, and I'm still learning all of this. Like, I have not mastered this stuff, not by a long shot, but I am noticing how my life has changed. I'm noticing the difference in relationships and interactions and just everyday experiences. Everything's just getting better and better. There's nothing else jumping from that, so I think it is just that one card. So, I'm here to just share what's helping me, but it does work. And I'm learning from anybody that I've shared this with, be they friends, acquaintances, or just random people that I bump into. People always come back to me. They're noticing the changes it's making in their lives. So this really does work. This really can help. And, I'm going to speak specifically to the light workers now, because sometimes, and I've been guilty of this myself. Sometimes somebody's repeating something to me and it's like, I know this stuff. I've been practicing this for years. But you know what? I'm not always practicing it, because sometimes I forget. Sometimes I get tangled up in old frequencies from childhood, things that distract me. So although I know this stuff, I'm not actually always remembering to implement it and embody it. And see, that's the thing. Knowledge and wisdom go hand in hand. And sometimes, when we're focused, when we allow our dial to get turned into the heavier, denser, icky feeling things instead of putting our attention on the good feeling experiences, because again, law of attraction brings us whatever frequency we're sending out, i.e., whichever one we're focused on. It's that simple. It just takes practice. What are you going to choose in any given moment? This works. It really, really works. It just takes practice. And don't give up. Try things like that little song and 3 deep breaths. Eventually you'll start to feel it. Eventually you'll notice it within yourself. And then you'll start doing what feels better. Sometimes that means playing another song and another song. Or heck it. Do you know what? Maybe it's just put on a whole playlist of songs you used to love. Things that, used to light you up. Start doing those things again. Start allowing yourself that time. Often we're sitting on Netflix or, other channels. I don't have a TV, so I don't know what's out there anymore. But, we're distracting ourselves with other things, often of the frequency of the very things we're trying to leave behind and escape from. Like if you've had a stressful, anxious day And to go home then and watch a drama that's full of, moments of stress and anxiety, that's not switching off and relaxing. That's actually keeping yourself caught up in that frequency of ick, you know. But when you start feeling better, when you start having moments of, oh my God, that feels really good. And I promise you, just pick a favorite song, a feel good song, one song. What are they? 3 minutes, 5 minutes? I promise you, if you just turn it on, close your eyes, and just breathe consciously, slowly and deeply, and feel the music. Feel how good you always feel when you hear that song. Feel how good it feels to feel that music and let your body flow with it. Before you know it, you will be dancing. And you'll feel all that stress and tension leaving your muscles. Like, it's such an incredible feeling once you start getting into the flow of that. And all of that heavy stuff that you're picking up every day, it just kind of disperses because you recognize, yeah, don't need that. This isn't about living an airy fairy life with your head in the clouds. This is about, oh, you're acknowledging how you feel, and you are making conscious choices because you are choosing not to keep tuning in and not to keep your focus on all the things that make you feel ick. I should call this the ick channel because it's the only word I have to describe a lot of those emotions, and that go with some of those heavier, denser frequencies. Don't have the language, but I know you know what I mean when I say things that feel ick. And we need to start trusting ourselves. We need to start recognizing that when we feel ick, that means there's a better way. That doesn't mean go to our friends and family and allow them to talk us into accepting and choosing this icky situation that we don't want to do. Because let's face it, that's what most of us actually have been doing most of our lives. And then we end up making a choice, even though our soul is screaming, no, you have a better way, you have a better option. We make that choice based on the advice of other people. Nobody knows what's right for you. Nobody knows except you. And you always know. The problem is, most of us, it's been so long since we've felt good, since we've recognized, how wonderful it feels to be in the feeling vibrations. We've gotten so used to being caught and enmeshed and tangled up in all of the frequencies of the icky stuff that we've forgotten how good it feels to feel good. My God, it feels fantastic. And once you get a taste of it, and I promise you will, if you try that, just one song. It doesn't have to be any meditation or airy fairy stuff that offends you, or not offends you, but threatens your sense of, I can't do that, people think I'm weird. It doesn't have to be weird. It just has to be something that makes you feel good. And gift it to yourself. Give yourself those 3 or 5 minutes. Take those conscious breaths and allow yourself to flow in the frequencies of positivity, upliftment, of satisfaction. It's very addictive. And then once you start doing that, you start wanting to make better choices. You become acutely aware of when things are feeling off or ick. You don't always have to explain it, to anybody. But you just need to pay attention and go, hang on, no, this is my own soul. I know there's a better way for me here. There's a better choice. There's a better option. There's something better here. I don't have to go with this because this feels off. And we always, always have the power to choose. Sorry, came back to the card. So what came out is inner temple, devotion. Tune in to the portal of your heart. And again, that's the thing, our heart. That is our connection to the divine. That is, the divine heavenly frequencies coming, the masculine frequencies of Father Sky. And it merges here in the center of us. And again, when we're grounded and walking on Mother Earth, and we balance our masculine and feminine energies, and we bring that masculine and feminine energy together. Again, the as within, so without, as above, so below. It's all interactive. It's all about balance. It's yin and yang. And this is us. This is our temple. This is home. And it's when we, again, our feelings. Home isn't a place. Home is where you feel good. Home is where you feel safe. Home is where you feel alive and happy. So you can have friends that are home. Now, animals, plants, like, it's a feeling. It's whatever experience you're having in a moment that just feels so wonderful. That's home. Because again, home is love. Home is the heart chakra. And again, your heart is a portal. It is the portal of the divine frequencies. So, inner temple. And again, look, there's even like the two people. Again, it's talking about balance. It's talking about, I have a cushion here, like yin and yang, you know? Yin and yang, it's the masculine energy, the masculine frequencies. This is yang and yin, or I don't know, one or the other. And this is the feminine. But you know what? The light and the dark, the, within, without, there's a little bit of each in the other. And they each bleed into each other. There isn't one without the other. That is the balance of everything, of life and existence. It's, the moons, the seasons, everything is cycles, and, we flow together. And it's the duality, it's the union, it's the bringing the balance together. This is like the Holy Trinity that they talk about. I think the pagans used to talk about the Mother, Maid and Crone. I know the Catholic Church, they're talking about the Father, Son and the Holy Ghost. But it's actually both. It's the balance of the masculine and feminine coming together like yin and yang. And when they're in harmony, and the frequencies aren't too much of one and too much of the other, because you know what? It's the balance of both. When they're in harmony and they're flowing together, when they come into union together, it becomes something bigger. It becomes this third divine energy. That is the Holy Trinity. You are the Holy Trinity. When you balance your own masculine and feminine energies, your inner and outer world, when you bring balance, when you find your equilibrium, everything comes into harmony. And when you're in harmony, you're in alignment with yourself. And that's when you're in alignment, that's when you get your clear, you know exactly which path to take, what's the right choice for you, always. So I'll go find the meaning in the book for this. So make sure I'm giving the full messages. Like I said, I'm not a professional by any standards. So some of my things come with a alphabetical thing, so it's easy to find. This one, not so much. So inner temple 70. Okay. So, inner temple, devotion. Tune into the portal of your heart. You are being called to be a devoted student and tune into your heart, to incorporate true devotion into your life. You could be being called to develop a regular meditation, journaling, or chanting practice, or dancing to your favorite song, or to show up to your own soul with rhythm. Again, rhythm and flow of music, it's all interconnected. To develop a daily practice where you will fill up your well and spend time with your soul. So again, this is recharging your battery. It's refilling your own cup so you'll be overflowing. Nobody can drain you, but it is your own responsibility to pay attention to your equilibrium. Are you balanced? Is your cup up and nice and full? If it's not, take your time out to fill up your well, plug in your battery, jumpstart yourself. Of all the answers to all of the questions that you seek, all of the answers to all of the questions that you seek are waiting for you in the portal of your heart. And again, that's what I'm saying. When you're in alignment, when you're feeling good, every solution to every problem and issue is so readily available to you. But you must keep yourself in your heart center. You must keep yourself in alignment with who you truly are. So all the answers are always readily available to you. But you cannot hear them unless you carve out time each day to listen. And again, you listen by tuning in to yourself, finding your balance. Your soul is yearning for a deeper relationship with you. And so, the more time you spend with it and show up to it, the more clearly it will guide you. So, again, make a date with yourself. You know, promise yourself. Have that one song. That one song, you know what it is. What's that one song that gives you an inner smile that you just love? Always lights you up. Go play it. Take a few moments. Breathe consciously. Breathe deeply. Feel the music. Tune into how good that feels. And start using that as a little, focus point. So when things aren't feeling good like that, reach for a better feeling option because it's always there. So, where am I now? So the more time you spend with it, it'll show more clearly guide you. So we are here to grow as souls. Earth is one big playground for the soul to learn. Oh boy, is it. And you are being called to go deeper in your soul growth or to increase your devotion by being a student of a lineage or a spiritual teacher. And again, we're all spiritual teachers. We are all the student and the teacher, always, at all times. Every person I interact with and share some of my stuff with, I learn from them too. We're always teaching each other. We're always learning from each other if we're willing to pay attention and look for those lessons. And once we do, oh my God, life just starts getting better and better. So, if you have already been a committed student, then you are being commended for your devotion. Your guides want you to know how proud of you they are, and that the time you spend in devotion is priceless. Again, you're refilling your own cup. If you are questioning your career or life path, your guides want you to turn your focus towards devotion and this prayer. Please use me in a way that delights my mind, body, and soul. May my life be one big moving prayer. I'm going to say that again. I really feel that. That's actually. Whew. Please use me in a way that delights my mind, body, and soul. May my life be one big moving prayer. And you know what? My life really is. I see that now. And it can be like it is for all of us if we're willing to pay attention. And then the work your light action that comes with this says, commit to a daily devotional practice. So again, pick your favorite song. Or if you're already experienced with meditation, tune in. Give yourself permission. Set aside time. Nobody's going to free it up for you and give it to you. You have to do it. Make time for you because you're worth it. And when you do, your cup is overflowing. And again, we're talking about the universal laws and the law of attraction. When your cup is overflowing, when you are feeling good, you are radiating that out into the universe, and law of attraction matches it and sends it back to you. So the most important thing is to do things that feel good. Don't distract with stuff that feels ick and dramas. And I know, I love some of those movies, but there's a time and place for them. And if you devote all your time in them, your focus gets too caught up in it, and then you start calling those frequencies to you. Watch those movies when you can afford that frequency dip, because you're still feeling good enough that you can rise yourself in any moment. But it's when we're having too many of those things going on. That's why it's important to have a little daily practice. And then you start feeling better. Once you start feeling better, life just gets better. It really does. They're telling me to read the meaning for the spiritual growth card as well. So I'm going to give you that message before I go, and then I'll stop waffling. So I'm looking for spiritual growth. So you're going through a time of rapid spiritual growth. Enjoy the process. Because once you start figuring it out, it starts getting really exciting. And even when you have a bump in the road and a hiccup, it's like, oh my God, how am I going to fix this? And how quick can I be? I'm getting faster. This is getting better. And it starts becoming fun. So during this time, you may feel a mixture of many feelings: confusion, excitement, fear, and wonder. You love your renewed connection with the divine. And I know many of you are feeling this. And you wish you could read, study, learn, or meditate on a full-time basis. Simultaneously, though, you may worry about the implications that your spiritual studies will have on the rest of your life. What impact will your new spiritual pursuits have on your job, marriage, or friendships? These worries create a fear that may erode the enjoyment your spiritual studies bring to you. Again, this is always going back to, once you start getting into alignment with yourself, once you start recognizing the truth of your own divinity and who and what you really are, and how you're always being constantly divinely guided, you do recognize that fear is actually the only thing you need to fear. Because when you're fearful, that means you're tuning into that heavier frequency. You're choosing to tune into that. You're getting distracted. You're allowing that frequency to distract you. But you don't have to be fearful, because you can have faith and trust that you are being divinely guided. The divine light is being showered on all of us right now. We do have awareness. We do have an internal sat-nav guidance system that will always help us choose the right path for us. We just have to trust ourselves and stop tuning our dial into fear. So, sorry, back to the cards. I keep doing that. Can't help myself. So, surrender these fears to God, dearest one. Trust that you are supported, loved, and guided each moment. Don't worry about how your future will blend with your spiritual growth. Trust that the same power that brought you to your spiritual path will also take care of everything else for you. After all, this power supports all of the planets in the sky. It will surely support you perfectly too. I see that's where having faith comes in. And I've known about this, I've believed this for a long time. But I will be honest, the big cruncher for me was getting my blood results back and realizing I have a 23% improvement in my GF4, which is medically impossible for a renal patient with polycystic kidney disease who has had a 9-pound kidney removed and still has a 6-pound kidney in there, completely consumed with cyst material instead of healthy tissue. I don't know if that's changing and, becoming healthy, or if I'm regrowing a new kidney where they took one out. I've no idea what's happening internally in my body. But one thing I do know, it is connected to the fact that I'm now starting to feel good. I'm choosing to tune into and look for things to appreciate every day and tune into that feeling of appreciation, that feeling, the good feeling frequencies. And since I've started doing that, lots of good things are happening to me, including a miraculous turnaround and improvement in my physical health. So I might seem a little bit fanatical about this, but yeah, I think I've got grounds for this. There is something to this. This truly does work. And it's not hard. It just takes a little bit of practice. And this is why it's so important for us to link in together and recognize other like-minded souls, to stand in your truth. Because when we have wobbles and get distracted sometimes, we need another soul to remind us who we are and to remind us of, hang on, I know you know all of this stuff, but where's your focus right now? Because it's so easy. I still do it. Old childhood programming, and it's so easy to slip back into those old patterns of behavior. But you know what? I'm not that little girl anymore. So I'm recognizing it myself quicker and quicker. But if I'm not recognizing it, I have wonderful friends. There are wonderful people in my life, whether they're now online or, phone calls, obviously, because we can't meet up and that. But I still have these wonderful frequencies and souls, people, friends, who have enough awareness to remind me when I need to hear it of who I am and what I'm capable of, and of all the things I've overcome in my life. And no matter how hard and traumatic most of them have been, I'm still sitting here alive and well today, healthier and better than ever, thought possible, feeling happy and feeling good. So here I am, sharing my experience with you in the hopes that it might benefit you too. And I'm so grateful for the people who have crossed my path along my journey that have brought me to this point. Because as I mentioned earlier, every conversation, every stranger I meet in waiting rooms in hospitals and so on, everything is out of purpose. Everything has a reason. Sometimes you don't even know the reason of, a particular crossing of paths with an individual, but they all have a purpose and a reason. And I'm starting to recognize them more and more. And we're having an impact. But the main important thing is be yourself. Don't be afraid to share it. Don't be afraid to share your spiritual growth, because sometimes it's exactly what somebody else needs to hear. Because that's how we remind each other of who we are. This is who we are. This is our natural disposition. You know, this is who we truly are. We've just gotten distracted with all the heavier frequencies because there are some that choose to pump that at us constantly. But you know what? We don't have to. We don't have to listen. We don't have to receive those frequencies. We get to choose. We can turn off the telly or change the channel, watch something more uplifting. We can start recognizing, some of the angry music that actually, because music's so powerful, it affects how we feel. You know, use music to lift you up. Play the high vibrational frequencies, the good feeling ones. You know, the heavier frequencies, they have a purpose if you need to release some of that emotion. So then play that song that will make you cry, or, so you can get that anger out. But then once you've released it, then you choose to feel better. You recognize this feels so crap. I want to let it go. And then it's like, right, now I'm going to change that heavier music, which is very useful to do the releasing and shake off that energy. Then you choose, now I'm going to put on my feel good music. Then you're going to listen to the frequencies that are of a higher, lighter, uplifting vibration. Because, everything in our lives is about energy, vibration, frequency. And you have all the tools you need to turn your life around. You are the savior we've all been waiting for. You get to save yourself. You are your own knight in shining armor, literally. Because when you come into alignment, you shine. You literally do shine. Trust yourself. Tune back into yourself. Find yourself. Remember who you are. And then don't be ashamed. Don't be embarrassed. Don't hide. Stand in your authenticity. There'll be so many people that will be drawn towards you like moths to a flame. Because again, law of attraction brings us what we're emitting. So don't be afraid of losing friends and acquaintances who might think you're weird for choosing to be happy and for choosing for the better feeling option in all times. Because you know what? If some fall away, it's just making way for higher vibrational, better feeling experiences to enter your life. And that's not to say the friends that fall away are gone for good, because they too, when the time is right for them, will find their awareness and decide, do you know what, I've had enough of feeling like crap. I want to feel good. And then, like with all the cycles and, the way everything's interconnected, sometimes paths drift for a while, but they come back again. And you might meet those very same people, and your harmonies, like your frequency will be more in harmony. You'll be more harmonious. It's constantly changing. And think about it, music does too, the frequencies. I'm not a music teacher, but I don't know, I just keep getting everything's in like a flow. And sometimes, people, we just flow differently. Sometimes we flow in harmony with each other, and sometimes we're in disharmony. That's okay, just allow it. The main thing is, are you in harmony with you? And as long as you keep yourself in harmony with yourself, you'll attract more and more harmonious experiences, which means everything just gets better. And if you truly have faith, once you start to really understand this, you'll know that everybody you love that you fear losing right now will eventually find their way, because all paths lead back to home. All paths lead back to oneness. All paths lead back to love. It's all on divine timing. They'll find their way when the time is right for them to do so, and you will be reunited. But in the meantime, just keep choosing what's right for you right now, and welcome the new experiences that come into your life with an open heart. And as you do, more and more will come. And it's just that ripple effect. And then everything you desire can actually come about and be manifested. But you have to take your focus off other people's journeys, because their journeys are none of your business. Your own vibrational frequency, your own alignment, your own aspect of yin and yang, your own sense of equilibrium within your own energy, your masculine and your feminine, your in and your out. That's all that really matters. And I promise you, keep yourself in balance and alignment and in high vibrational frequencies. Nothing will phase you ever again. Even if you hit challenges when somebody else's journey coincides with yours and they might have a bit more momentum behind their frequency, you don't quite react the same way anymore. It's not such a traumatic event. It's like, sure, I've gotten over everything before. There's always a way. I always figure it out. So it's like, I know there's a solution to this, so it's not a big deal. You don't get so stressed anymore. It's like, yeah, figure it out. Because you know what? You always do. Things always work out. Try and remember that one. Everything's always working out for me. Because it is. You're here now today. You've overcome every obstacle. Like the girl in that image. You've climbed the mountain of life. There have been so many challenges and obstacles on the way. But this is where you're at. Again, look at all that binding. It's coming loose. It's a little bit there. It's just that little tinge of fear. The fear of judgment. But there is nothing to fear but fear itself. Trust yourself. Trust in your own divinity. Trust in your spiritual growth. Don't be afraid of it. Now, with that, I'm going to leave. And once again, nearly an hour. Apologies. But I don't know how else to deliver the messages, so I just go with the flow. But thank you so much for your time and for listening. I hope it's resonated and helped. I trust that it is, because my ego's kind of going, stop. But I trust that this is resonating with those that need to hear it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given me the impulse to do it. So thanks for your time. If you feel this would help any other people that you know, please feel free to share. If you want to stay tuned, I don't know if there'll be more. People are saying I need to do it every week at the same time or things like that, but that feels ick to me. I'm just going to let spirit lead me and guide me. So when I'm given an impulse that there's a message to come, and today I didn't know what was coming, I'm just kind of going with the flow of that, and a natural cycle or rhythm will unfold, because isn't that not one of the laws of the universe? So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. It could be different every time. Anyway, thank you for listening, and hello, White Wolf. Sorry, I just realised I got a live chat. I don't know much about technology, but I will acknowledge you, and thank you for acknowledging me. I hope this was of benefit to you. Take care. Bye.